Hello and welcome to Take This TV, the television book club podcast where each week we talk about an episode or two of our favorite shows with our friends in the fandom. You. Hello. I'm Carmen Askernes and I'm joined as always by the amazing Kimberly Woods. Hello.
What's up, hot potatoes?
This season we're watching Shogun. Which episode are we
And
talking about today?
today we're on episode 8. Only 2 more to go. The show description for this one is Toranaga's defeated clan moves to Edo and awaits their fate.
Mm.
Dun dun dun.
So I guess Nagakado did something right by dying?
I guess so. We gave him more time. Yep, we find out at the beginning of the episode that they're headed to Edo for their 49 days of mourning, which is a tradition in Japan. I was reading about it on the FX site, and it talks about how because death is seen as impure, there's an impurity that's on the relatives because of it, and so they're not supposed to go out and mingle with, other people.
For 49 days? Oh, wow. Dang.
Yep. So that's why I guess they're granting him the,
Okay.
Yep.
So, spoilers, by the way, for the episode. I feel like we never say that, but I thought it was implied, but I'm just going to say it as spoilers.
If you haven't seen up to episode 8, pause it. We'll be here waiting, and then come join us.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the episode, when he's talking to Mariko, and he's like, "Are you ready to do your part?" I was like, wait a minute. Has this all been a scheme this whole time? Or because he knew that Yabushige would go to Blackthorn, or Blackthorn would go to Yabushige, sorry.
And he knew
so
Yabushige would be weak and agree.
Mm-hmm. And so it's like, did he know all of this would happen?
I mean, I feel like he knew some of it. I still, definitely the Blackthorn thing. I knew he knew, Blackthorn is a wild card and would do what he wants to do. And was maybe hoping for it. But, his son, I'm sure he didn't see that coming. That was just an unexpected
It's true.
thing
Tragedy.
that happened that he, now gets more time. And then, but what, from this episode, his, childhood buddy, Buntaro's father,
Hiromatsu,
who then commits seppuku at the end, is that scene, to me, I was like, what is happening? Because when he talks about it later with Mariko, it's like, did he know that that was likely to happen with him and that his friend would be so dedicated that he would go there in order to kind of propel the movement forward? Or was this just, how much was he expecting that?
Oh, I couldn't tell if this was an unfortunate side effect or consequence. I mean, this thing that happened, or if this was part of the plan, because he did seem legitimately sad. And I mean, I was fooled because I was like, dang, man, you're just going to let your friend kill himself, and not do anything? What is happening to Lord Toranaga? But
it was hard because it's like he didn't have a choice.
I guess for whatever the plan is, he needed to, yeah.
Once he said that, if you're not going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then it was he was kind of bound to his word himself. And so, yeah, I couldn't tell if it was an unfortunate thing or if he knew maybe Toranaga needed this, because the side effect now, the aftermath, is that everybody else is going to be on board.
I don't know.
You can tell he's serious. Toranaga's not playing around. He's serious.
I don't know. I feel like they're going to turn on him.
Really?
I mean, because even Omi was talking to Kiku and he was like, do you ever feel like loyalty is meaningless? It feels like everything is meaningless.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Omi's been through it too. I mean, everybody's been through it, but I feel like he was, that was a major theme of the episode, was loyalty. And him thinking about Nagakado and his loyalty to his father and what that got him. And then thinking about Kiku and her loyalty to Gin. And
oh, man.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a little part of me that was sad for Omi, but for the most part, I was like, you were so mean to Nagakado and you kept trying to set him up. So I feel like it's like Omi was a bully to Nagakado and now he's realizing that that was his only friend, and now his only friend is dead.
Yeah. And also, I feel like he had to play a part in that too, because Kiku was involved in that setup. So it's like, dude, you were a part of this too.
What did you think about when Blackthorn went to finally find his men?
I was cracking up because this whole time he's been asking for this. He's like, give me my men, give me my ships. Where are they? We're just gonna roll. And then it's like, dude, they're not on the same page as you. They're angry at you because you brought them to Japan in the first place. They don't have your ideals. Like, I like the juxtaposition of him now seeing them as barbarians and
Yeah.
being like, oh, they're filthy. When he was the one that, remember, he didn't want to like take a bath in the beginning.
Yeah. He's
So it was,
his worldview's opened up, yeah.
and it's interesting to see him like caught because he's been changed now. He's like kind of caught between the two cultures and transformed by his time in Japan. So it's like he can't really identify with the people he came with, and Toranaga's got him on the outskirts. It's like, where do I fit in?
He's an outsider.
So I like that. What did you think about the scene between Mariko and Buntaro at the tea ceremony?
Oh my gosh. I was like, dang, that was the most brutal thing that's happened on the show. The emotional damage.
Tell
Oh
us
yeah.
about Mariko's psychic damage that she did to Buntaro
Oh,
and the tea ceremony.
Mariko talking to Buntaro. Oh my gosh. So I feel like this is one of the most brutal things that happen in the show because she tells him that she would rather live for 500 years than to join him in death. And I was like, oh, the person who's been asking for death this whole time said that she doesn't want to die with you. Like that's
And then what she
dang.
said, she was like, you still don't get it, do you? What I wanted wasn't death, but a life beyond your reach. It's like, ow. Ouch.
Yeah, it's like I want to live, just not with you.
Yeah.
Dang. I don't know, like what happened to make her be so honest to like just fully take down the eightfold
Well,
fence.
I was wondering too, and I was looking up about because on FX they have the little behind the scenes about different traditions. And like the tea ceremony, it said is a place where everybody is equal in the tea house. And so I was wondering,
Oh,
like, maybe because of that tradition, if she felt more comfortable, like, being that honest because they were, like, on the same level. There wasn't, like, husband, wife, or, like, those sorts of
so that
traditional roles assigned. Because, yeah, the veil came down and she was just, like, she gave it to him straight.
I feel like that's more brutal because then it's like they're just gonna go back to pretending when they leave, and
Yeah,
secretly
they're gonna
he
sleep.
knows that Mariko hates him. Like, oh man,
Are they gonna sleep in the same, you know, house? Or I don't know. It seemed like she ended things. I don't really know how they go back from that.
that felt like a breakup.
Yeah.
I feel like I got broke up with. I wasn't even in it, but
But
and
also,
then
like, how selfish of him. He's just scared of going to Osaka and dying. He, before he asked her this, was, like, basically asking if she was still under Anjin's spell, and it was like, "Well, since I can't have you, no one can have you. How about you just, commit suicide with me and we'll die together."
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't deny being under Blackthorn's spell or being in love with Blackthorn essentially, but like I feel like Buntaro sucks, right? Objectively. But like in this episode, his wife, like between the leg dunks on him, and then his dad commits seppuku. And I assume this is all like the same day or maybe a few days apart. So he's having a rough week. So
And
I
then
feel a
the
little bad for him.
and then the thing his dad says to him, like, I was trying to figure out how he meant it because basically Buntaro's like, "I'm gonna commit seppuku too," and his father's like, "No, you will now know what it means to, live being denied,"
Mm.
basically. And I was like, is this a reference to him denying Mariko all these years, or is this just like a neutral statement?
Oh,
Like, as in, like, you're just, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, you cannot, or no, you will now know what it's like to, like,
I
do what
never
you've done
thought
to your
about.
wife, but I don't know which one it is.
Oh, dang. I mean, I kinda hope that he was referencing what happened to Mariko, but
Yeah,
I guess we'll never know.
yeah, but, I still it just drives me crazy because I don't like, that scene was so emotional and Toranaga tearing up while, like, talking to his friend who's like, them kind of like, "No, I'm not moving, I'm not," like, "I'm not going back on my word," and leading up to that, to the seppuku, which I guess in this like, apparently this sort of seppuku is called kanchi. It's the type
Oh,
of seppuku that's done in protest to something.
oh, wow.
So, yeah. I don't know, is it part of the plan, or is it just an unfortunate circumstance that then later Toranaga applies meaning to? Because he kind of thanks him too and says, like, "You've bought me time as well."
I feel like that was him just trying to justify what happened because it felt like, I mean, first of all, the acting in that scene, everybody did such an incredible job. You can see everybody in the room just suffering. Even the characters that we don't really have names and don't really see that much. It's like everybody is just kind of trapped in these like societal, um, you know, roles that they can't really break out of, and that's just how their society functions, and everybody's just suffering. And it's so emotional. Everybody did such a great job. It was such a powerful scene. One of the best scenes of the whole show for
It was
sure.
so good.
It was so
I
good.
and the fact that, like, Hiramatsu speaks up because there's a couple people that speak up in protest, and then Hiramatsu tries to speak up over them. It's like, "No, look, this is between me and, Toranaga," and kinda takes control of the situation. That's also why I don't know, like, is he helping in a way inadvertently? I don't know, Carmen. I wanna know the answers. I wanna know how much Toranaga knows about these chess pieces. I don't.
I don't know. I love that we're always spectators. Like all of the characters, we see some of them in their private moments, but they all have information that we don't have. And I think that always keeps each scene really fresh because it's like, what's gonna happen? Who's like trying to move against who? Like, what are everybody's intentions? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Toranaga faking being sick? Like, or is he
Yeah.
actually sick? I don't know.
And then this whole scene too, it's just like, is this just at first I was like, is this one big test where he's just testing everybody's loyalty by having them sign this thing?
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Or is it just a big ploy because he needs to make everybody think that he is like he's sick, he's weak, you know, that he's gonna surrender.
Yeah.
It does seem like a big ploy. I don't know. And also, most of the time he's coughing, but most of this episode we see him around other people while he's coughing. And
Hmm.
then at the end, when he's alone, like talking over his son's, funeral site, he doesn't cough as much. I noticed.
So it's like, is he putting on a show?
Yeah, and
Does
he
he
might
cough
be
when he talks
sick,
to
but
Mariko?
when they're doing the poems back and forth,
Yeah,
the poetry,
I don't remember.
not as much, I don't think.
Okay, interesting.
That was a really cool moment too.
Yeah, I love their relationship.
Me too. I thought it was interesting that some of, like, Toranaga's theme of his poems was permanence, and Mariko's was impermanence. It was just interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think that we've kind of seen their roles shift a little bit too, where at least from the outside looking in, Toranaga has kind of like given up on life, but Mariko seems emboldened to like try to find a way to live now. And I think
Yeah.
that's really interesting. Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
cracking up when Blackthorn went to Yabashige, and there was that moment when Margaret was translating and Blackthorn was complimenting Yabashige about, him, taking fate by the hands and not giving up at the rock. He saw that moment where he was like, took his fate by his hands and was I don't know. And then Yabushige was like really flattered, and then he looked over at his nephew and saw his expression. Oh no, I can't accept this.
I would never betray our Lord.
And later, when they're on the ship, he was like, "What you said, it really meant a lot to me."
Yeah, Yamashige is a goober. I love him.
Yeah. The casting all around is just really great.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think that if Omi wasn't there, Yabushige would have accepted Blackthorn's offer on the spot.
I agree. This episode definitely had a different pace, I feel like, than what we've seen. It was a lot more somber.
Mm-hmm.
I think, because of the grief of everybody. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
There was that great moment also during the translation with Yabushige when Blackthorn says that loyalty turns into insanity when the order is suicide, and Mariko asks him like, "Is that for Yabushige or is that for me?" And I was like, Mari Thorn still alive in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That was so good. I'm excited to see their ship sail off. Blackthorn and Yabushige and Mariko.
I'm curious what's gonna happen because Mariko comes aboard the ship and says that she has orders to escort them from Lord Toranaga. Because we know that when she spoke to Toranaga that he expected this to happen, but it's like I wonder if like Toranaga has some like secret weapon or army or something that he wants them to go pick up and bring back. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, Yabushige was supposed to also like go over to Osaka and deliver all the guns and cannons, surrender them. So we now see that that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh,
So
and
I'm
there's
hoping they're
also
just going to take the cannons and fight.
I hope so too. I hope they don't give up. Well, I mean, I feel like
Crimson
Blackthorn,
Sky!
Crimson Sky. We have that scene with Lady Ochiba and Ishido where he's like, he's like, we should join in an alliance, and we get the flashback of Lady Ochiba during the play when she's talking to one of the other
Dayun?
wives.
I think it's the widow, Taiko's widow. Dayun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she says that Ishido comes from nothing and is nothing, and that Lady Uchiba is choosing the wrong ally. And so we get to see sort of like she thinks about it, but by the end of the episode, I think that it's like implied that she agrees to Ishido's
It
marriage
seems
proposal.
like she's going to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And Dayun dies.
Oh yeah, she
Yeah, on
has a
her deathbed,
stroke.
she's kind of like pleading with her to stop this nonsense with Ishido. So
That scene was wild because Lady Ochiba is like, "Oh, let me give you some medicine for the pain," and then after she dies, Lady Ochiba is just kind of like really like stoic again, and I was like, "Yo, she's a sociopath! Like, what's happening?" Like, she's just like putting on these emotions, these waterworks, like whenever she needs
yeah,
to. So yeah,
it's so weird. And Dayun says to her like, "I made you." Like she has this like, basically like, "You're my daughter, whom I've made and
mm-hmm.
raised," sort of relationship, which is interesting. And our son. It almost is like if she didn't push as hard, would Ochiba maybe not have gone? Because it seems like every time she tries to give her advice to to go to Toranaga, she doesn't listen.
She does the opposite.
She's like, "No, mom."
Yeah, I hate you, mom. Yeah. So
We
I don't know.
also we also get an interesting perspective from Mariko on Ochiba because Alvito or Martin comes to Edo to talk to Toranaga.
Oh gosh, yeah. He's like Lady Maria. I was like, oh,
Yeah, he's back.
gross.
And he's basically saying that, Ochiba's behind everything. And Toranaga asks Mariko, like, why is she behaving this way? And Mariko thinks Ochiba is behaving this way because of fear. Not so much a hatred of Toranaga, but fear. Maybe
Yeah,
fear for her son.
maybe. I mean, it's a dangerous world as we've seen over the course of these last episodes. So, I mean, does that mean that Lady Oshiba can be redeemed or can join Lord Toranaga's side? I don't know.
I
I
hope
truly don't know
so.
what's going to happen. but
I really don't. Yeah, I really don't know what's gonna happen. I'm wondering, I mean, I do think that maybe people will be on board seeing how serious Toranaga is. They
I
gotta be
don't know.
committed to his plot.
Well, I feels like nobody knows about it except for Mariko.
Yeah, but I mean, the funny thing is they're like, "Come on, this is just a ploy, isn't it?"
And he's like, "No."
But they don't sign the thing. They're like, "Come on."
Come on, man, you just joking around.
Don't make us sign it.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But they gotta put their trust in it.
Well, there is that great line from Hiramatsu where he says, "Osaka's not our enemy, Ishido is." And I feel like that's some good perspective of like, because Toranaga is like, we shouldn't fight because then we'll essentially bring ruin to everyone and everything if we start this war. But
Mhm.
Hiramatsu's letting him know that like only Ishido has to die. Like he's the one who's our enemy. So um, I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens next. I mean, I definitely saw the title of the next episode and it makes me have some theories, but we'll see. But I love this show though.
Yeah. We'll see. We got 2 episodes left. Bet
Mm-hmm.
something dramatic. Something dramatic's coming for us.
Ah!
Ah! What is it? Ah! Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to leave us a review, write us a comment, and you can follow us on Instagram or TikTok at TakeThisTV. And remember, it's dangerous to watch TV alone.